Welcome, everybody. I am here with Trista from Georgia. I cannot wait. We don't really know each other yet, so we're just going to talk about your experience, kind of making your way to eXp, whether it was your first brokerage or whether it wasn't, and then just your experience with eXp so far. So I would love to get to know you a little bit more and just to hear your story.
Perfect. Well, thank you. So I have been a real estate agent for about a year and a half. eXp is actually my second brokerage.
Okay.
I started out, and the first brokerage I was with didn't really mesh with what I was looking for. We're military, and so we move a lot. And the cloud-based brokerage is what really pulled me to eXp because it was easier to move with. When I did move over to eXp, we were getting ready for a PCS to move. And then also, I didn't get the proper training that I feel like I should have at my first brokerage. So that was another huge pull to eXp, is having, eXp University, all of these trainings. And then my upline also has a ton of trainings that have been super useful. So those are just a couple of reasons as to why, out of all of the brokerages that I was looking at, I did move over to eXp. I was an agent for about 5 months before I moved over,
Okay.
and I had one deal with my previous brokerage. And when I moved over to eXp, within 6 months, I sold 9 houses.
Wow, that's huge difference. I
Very.
think as a new agent, I think that had I started my real estate career with eXp, I think that I would have been well equipped, much more well equipped, or however you want to say that, going into it, because the training and the mentorship and like the willingness to help instead of like having to go searching for the help or figure it all out on your own. I feel like with most other brokerages, that's kind of what you're left to. It's just,
Yeah.
okay, now you're an agent, go figure it out, have fun, fail forward, basically. Yeah, I think that's a huge game changer, and obviously you've experienced that for sure.
Yeah, I think because even at the first brokerage, I had I had to go through a mentorship program. And, the mentor that I had told me I was trying to submit an offer on a Friday, and he was like, "This can wait until Monday." I was like, "No, it can't. Like, I need your assistance." And that was really what pushed me out of that brokerage and into another one. And my mentor with eXp, when I actually joined eXp, I was in New York at the time, and there was only one other eXp agent where I was located.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it was just him and I. He was my mentor. He had never had really anybody pass through the mentorship program and graduate before. And I learned so much. And, he's been in the business for so long, and it just great mentorship. And having the opportunity to change your mentor if the two of you don't click is something that my first brokerage didn't have. Like, that
Right.
was your mentor, that's who you were stuck with. And with eXp, you have that ability. Um, and the other thing that I learned was, if that mentor is not actually helping you, they don't get their percentage. They don't get paid,
Right.
which is also another huge benefit, because you're working so hard for your money, and they're supposed to be there to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And so far, so good. You've enjoyed, obviously you've enjoyed being over here. It's been a huge difference in just a short period of time, going from, one deal to 9 deals. What
Mhm.
do you think was like the differentiator between where you were and like with eXp? Was it the mentorship that was able to help you kind of realize what you needed to do to sell more houses.
Yeah, I think the mentorship definitely helped me, but my upline did too with all the additional trainings that I was able to go to. But I also think that there was a huge like mind shift change of, being told you'll be lucky to sell one your first year to being told I have no limits.
Right.
And having that mind shift change definitely helped. And then having all of the tools to scale my social media, and it's not just pipeline or sphere of influence built. It's you can do all of these extra things to bring people in. Um, where it was a little different with the first brokerage. So I feel like just those open minds is really what helped me scale. And we moved back in September and I had to start all over and get licensed in Georgia and Alabama. And I actually have my second closing today of 2025. And having EXP behind me, helping me transition, and having my upline help me transition, it's been a lifesaver. People tell me all the time I should go to a small boutique brokerage, and it's just like I'm so happy with where I am with EXP. I love it.
Plus, there's so many opportunities for you to there's so many more income opportunities with eXp. Like, it's not just about selling homes. Like, there's revenue share and there's stock
Hmm.
options and there's ownership. I think that was one big thing for me was the ownership in the company. Is I know that I probably have a decade or two still left in me in real estate. So if I am iconing every year and I'm getting, rewarded $16,000 icon awards, and that's just money that I don't have to see, and it just sits there and grows over time. And in 20 years, I'm sure compound interest starts to take in effect, and I'm going
Yep.
to have a beautiful little nest egg there for my retirement or like whatever. I've actually utilized my agent equity um last year. I pulled out a bunch of money, and it's funny because I was like looking to pay off some debt, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I have some money in my stock account. I'm gonna go and check that out and see. And I had in excess of $50,000 in there, and I've not even been with the company for 4 years. So
Oh,
the agent
wow. Yeah.
equity the agent equity program is such an amazing program because you're putting money aside. Hi. If my daughter was home, she'd be doing the same thing.
She's
Um,
still in her
aw.
PJs.
And this is the great thing about being a realtor is we get to be moms, we get to be home, we have the freedom. Like, yes, it is hard work and there's lots of financial obligations and time sacrifices, but being able to connect and do things like this and be able to enjoy our children while they are little, like it's such a blessing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But
She will
for
miss.
Yeah, yeah. And for the agent equity program, like you're putting that money aside without ever having to take it from your account and putting it somewhere else. It's just automatic, right? So for me, I'll admit to being somebody who spends easily. So for that not to be seen, and it's such a great way of being able to save extra money and have it for a rainy day. So that's one thing I love about the stock program.
Yeah. Well, and see, I haven't even started dipping my toe into the stock program yet. I do have an agent underneath me. And so I've learned about the revenue share program.
Yep,
But before she even I'm sorry, before
that's
she even
okay.
signed up with me, like I didn't even know what that was. I had no idea that the agent she's a friend of mine. Here, let's go play. Go grab your colors and bring them here, please. The agent that I followed over to EXP, I had no idea, when I was selling houses, what she was making. And then I had a friend follow me to EXP, and she starts selling houses, and I start getting these deposits into my account. I'm like, what is happening? What is this? And it's a good chunk of money. Like that program in and of itself is, amazing.
I think too, like, I know you're in the States and I'm in Canada, but I know personally that what I bring in revenue share in a year is often what most people make at a 9 to 5 job for the entire year. So,
Yeah.
it's something that is a passive income that can generate so much help for you from a financial standpoint if it's just even just paying down debt or being able to go on a trip or 2 every year with your family or whatever, like, whatever you wanna use that money for is there for you to use however you wish, and I think that, having that passive income opportunity is such a game changer, and not many brokerages offer that. I know there's lots of copycat brokerages out there now that are
Mhm.
trying to repeat what we're doing, but, they're always leaving the elements out that make us who we are, which is they'll never be able to replicate exactly what we do.
Yeah. Well, and even at my previous brokerage, there was a top producing agent there, and he had agents underneath him, and like the most that he has ever made in the revenue share program that they have essentially was what my first payment was, right? And he's been in the business for over a decade, and that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
So, learning about that, I was like, "Wow, this is such a benefit," and
Mm,
I can understand why people love it. So, I in 2025, I wanna dip my toes over into the stock share, the stock program and everything, because there's so many more benefits with EXP that I'm still it's like an onion, and it just you
yeah.
keep peeling it back.
Yeah, and it just
Um,
keeps getting better.
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yep.
So I absolutely love EXP. It's made being in the military and moving around just so convenient. Um, you don't have to just sell houses to have an income. You can network and build the revenue share program out, and be successful with that too.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it allows diversification inside of your family too, and you can grow like, you can start to grow your organization in Georgia and Alabama, and then if you guys get posted to a new state in a couple of years and you start to grow roots in a new state, then you're building a global network of, like, a very beautiful network of agents who are going to help. You're all helping each other really, but that just helps you bring in that passive income, and the opportunity is there for them as well, right? So it's not like we're at the top of the totem pole and it's this is the same for everybody. Everybody has the same opportunity. It's how badly do you want it and how hard do you have are you willing to work for it? And I think a lot of people have this preconceived notion about EXP is like all these people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars with revenue share every year, or every month rather. And they just think it's like this get rich quick scheme. But there's a lot
Yeah.
of hard work involved and there's time commitments and sacrifice and all those things, but it pays off. So it's just everybody's drinks the different juices and it's just you got to find the flavor that you like and if you just want to sell houses you can just sell houses. If you just
Yeah.
want to grow a real estate organization you can do that too. Like it's such a beautiful diverse opportunity for everybody.
Yep. Well, and you still have, your typical brokerage split, um, which brokerage to brokerage that changes, but I feel like EXP has a pretty average split. But like even the transaction fees are lower. Like you
Mhm.
don't have a bunch of surprised fees when you're going to the closing table and you receive, your commission and now you're nixed $1,000 and you're like, what, where did this go? You
Yeah,
know, um, I think everything with EXP is pretty fair.
yeah,
The monthly payment that you're paying to the brokerage, your split's fair, your cap is reasonable. Just from everything, like all the other brokerages that I did look into and the previous brokerage that I was with, being able to compare and contrast brokerages and all of that information. With everything EXP, I feel like it just stands out. And that's why I'm still here.
And you haven't even had an opportunity, I don't think, yet to icon. So once you icon,
So close.
you're gonna reach a whole new level of excitement because you're like, wow, I should really get my icon award sitting on my desk. So when I'm showing it, it's like, all the Royal LePages and the Remaxes, they all have these trophies that are just that. They're trophies. That's it. That's all the value that they hold, other than like all the hard work and sacrifice you did to earn that and to show it off. But ours is worth $16,000. Like, this
Yeah.
thing paid me $16,000. Like, it's not just a trophy. It's I've never experienced anything like it. And I always joke about saying the only regret I have is just not moving over sooner. That's the only
Yep.
regret I have.
That's what I always say with joining real estate is that's my biggest regret is not starting when I wanted to back in 2017 was holding off because it is expensive to get into real estate. Um, but that is my biggest regret. And then not doing more research before I actually chose my first brokerage to hang my license. Because
Yeah.
if I had, I would have been over to eXp a couple months earlier.
Yep. But you're here now, which is all that matters. And
Yes.
but what is your vision, long-term vision for your real estate career? Because obviously you're young and you're fresh and you're like a go-getter. What is the vision that you have for your business?
This year I'm focusing on scaling. Long term, when we establish roots, we're trying to stay in Georgia. We want to stay here. I'm tired of moving, and we're on the other half of my husband's career to retirement. So it's kind of hard to say, but ideally, I would love to get my broker's license, and I would still stay with eXp, but I also want to kind of branch out to property management, and have some of my own rental properties, to be able to manage and kind of the buyers that I have that own their houses, I would love to manage those properties and kind of build out the property management side of real estate as well as still buying and, helping buy and sell. Um, I don't know if I'll be, I don't know if I really want to sell 100 houses a year.
Yeah,
It's
it's
great.
not a great lifestyle.
It's busy. And
And
I've
you
got
have
a
small
3-year-old.
children. Yeah, I was gonna say you have a
Yeah.
small daughter.
So the whole reason I got into real estate is because I didn't want to work a normal 9 to 5, which honestly, I'm up until 1 o'clock sometimes talking to clients. You're working 24/7, but it's scattered. You put in a
Mhm.
lot of work and it is a lot of work, but it's very scattered work, it feels like. Um, so long term, I think, being able to expand and branch out into property management, and then having a consistent flow of people that I'm helping. I primarily focus on military. That is my bread and butter. I've bought and sold houses and I didn't get the experience that I feel like we were not owed, but should have had.
Definitely.
Um, and so I want to be able to provide that. And I want to be able to provide, like, I want to be the known military real estate agent in the area. Like, hey, I'm military, I'm moving to the area. Yep, Trista's your person. Like,
Yep.
she'll break everything down,
You
trustworthy,
know this, right? Like,
honest.
and you
Yeah.
know this process. Like, you being a military wife, you know the process, you know the ins and outs of it. You've done it a number of times, obviously. And so you can definitely guide them through the
Yeah.
process.
So I'm definitely trying to build out my military network. I'm assisting in an app launch that's military focused completely. And just really that's kind of my long-term goal is to really just hone in on military families and helping them the best way that I can. And I think the biggest thing in the future is adding that property management portion into my business, because I can help even more members with their houses on the rental side.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because they're like they would keep them and move, right? Is that what you're kind of talking about? Is they keep them
Yeah.
as as an investment property and then they move? Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yep.
that's a great strategy. And I'm sure that there's other agents that within our ecosystem probably do that you can connect with who would be like open to sharing all of their secrets. That's what I love about
Yeah.
eXp is like everybody is so willing to share and so willing to just we are all not just financially aligned, but we are all like in the same kind of mindset. Whereas like if you win, I win, we're all winning. Like
Yeah.
this is not a
It's
competitive
kind of like a
nature.
small family,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
small, big family.
Yeah, small, big family. Exactly. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. I think it's important for, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of military real estate agents who are probably going to connect with you and be able to resonate with your story because maybe they're in the same shoes, or maybe there's a military mom watching this that's like, I do need to just go and get my license and just get it started, right? So
Yeah.
um,
The
definitely,
it's a bridge to jump off of, but it's so worth it. I love it. There's
yeah,
so many stay-at-home moms that are military spouses, and it's because they can't. Childcare is expensive, and once you get your license and you get the ball rolling, it's so worth it. A lot of my real estate friends are moms,
yeah.
and
Definitely. And
we
it does
all
give
love
you
it.
it does give you the freedom. I mean, I drive my kids to school every day and I pick them up. They don't take a bus just because we're on the other side of the school territory. But I mean, if they're sick or if something happens, I'm actually going on a trip with my daughter's class tomorrow for the entire day. If I had a normal 9 to 5 job, I'd probably feel guilty asking for the day off to be able to do that, right?
Yep.
They
Yeah. Well,
probably
and you
don't
can.
want you to do that.
Yeah. Well, and you can do, we're looking at getting her into soccer or gymnastics and like sports and everything because she's not quite school aged yet. And those things need commitments. And with a 9 to 5, I mean, I remember growing up and my dad was the one who would work, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she was always there. She was there for everything. And, I appreciate that and I love that. And I want to give that to her because her dad's military. He was deployed all of last year. And so, one parent's already missing stuff, and real estate really gives me that opportunity to not miss it too.
Yeah, yeah, because you do have the flexibility, and I'm sure as you grow into your career, one thing I had to learn over the last decade is boundaries, and boundaries is
Oh
hard to
gosh.
set sometimes, right?
Yes.
Because you want to please everybody. Being on the other side of it, that when you have a question, you want it answered. But
Hmm.
as being on the other side of that and saying, you know what? I'm at my daughter's gymnastics right now. I am not even answering that until I have time after she's gone to bed. And you have to respect that. I'm not going to be at your beck and call every moment of the day. And I've
Yeah.
had to learn that the hard way.
It's hard.
And it draw
Yeah.
that you got to put the line in the sand and just say, you know what? If you can't respect that I am a mom and that I have commitments on a personal level too, then we're probably not going to be a good fit
Yeah.
because my family does come first. And
Yep.
I've been almost divorced. I don't know how many times over me picking work over my family and not having those boundaries in place and having, you know, just being able to say to my client, like, no, I cannot help you right at this moment. Like it has, like, I'm not putting in the offer at 9 o'clock tonight. It can wait until 8 a.m. tomorrow. Like those
Yeah.
kinds of situations, you have to be able to say, like, no.
Yeah. Yeah. It's boundaries are a huge thing in real estate. Um and you just have to find those right boundaries, but it's also nice that you can say no. Like if
Yeah.
you just don't mesh with somebody or whatever, like
It
It's
is
it's
what
a
it
real
is.
thing to, you can fire a client. And
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
you don't want to by any means, but sometimes you don't mesh with everyone that you meet.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that is another freedom that you have within real estate itself.
Yeah, there have been instances where I have fired clients, and honestly, it feels really good when you let them go and you're just like, "Why did I wait so long to do this?" Like, I
Yeah.
should have just let it go because at the end of the day, the amount of stress and strife that it causes compared to the payoff, sometimes it's just, like, not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand that. And, with a normal 9 to 5 job, depending on what you're doing and, what your job is, like, you can't just go and say, I'm not working with you. Like,
Yeah,
the expectation is you work at that place and that is your job and that's who you're going to work with. And it's hard. It's
yeah.
very hard. So it's nice.
There's definitely lots of pluses and minuses in real estate. As you mentioned, and I've mentioned a
Hmm.
number of times, being in real estate is an expensive career. And a lot of people, it's funny because so many people will reach out to me and be like, I want to do what you do. It looks like you have so much fun. And like, just tell me how to get started. And it's like, how about let's back up here and let me just kind of show you behind the curtain because behind the curtain there's financial commitments and sacrifice
Hmm.
and time and effort and energy and there's a lot of commitment involved in financially and just brain power and energy wise and it's funny because a lot of people just are like, oh, I thought like your brokerage paid for your signs and your social media and your
No.
cards and it's like no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, I just paid my board dues and my bank account is crying. So,
Yeah. Yeah. We do have a lot of financial, obligations and stuff as realtors, but at the end of the day, it comes down to we genuinely want to help people. We want to be and make a positive impact on their life and help them make great real estate decisions. And when people understand that that's why we're in business, that's when we do really well because they know that we're not out
yeah.
to, just make another buck and move on to the next victim. It's
Yeah.
let me help you and let's stay in touch and let's have that relationship and build it over the long term. I've got clients who I sold houses to 10 years ago that I'm still friends with that I've helped buy and sell several homes with. Because I do believe that building a repeat and referral business is just smart business. It's having to find new business all the time is not easy. You might as well just foster the relationships with those who already do like and trust you and know you and then let them advocate for you. It's so
Yeah.
much easier.
Yeah. Well, and the um from my first client, I had 2 referrals off of that, just working with them, and, I always go the extra mile with my clients. I've cleaned out garages and been covered in a thick layer of I don't even know what, when we were done, and, I've picked up a client from the airport. They were PCSing from Hawaii, and they had nobody to help them, and so I've picked them up from the airport and just going those extra miles and making sure that they are taken care of because buying a house is huge.
Yeah.
Selling a house is huge. And then stacking a move on top of it to a place that you don't even know where you've never been there before.
Yeah.
So, um, taking care of your clients is the best part of
Mhm.
business. I love it. Real estate is so, so, so rewarding. It's expensive. Breathing air in real estate is expensive,
Yeah.
but it's so worth it. The people that
Yeah.
you meet and, the look on people's faces when they've found the house where they know that they can make that a piece of home for the next couple of years is just I love it.
Yeah, and
It's
you
so
create
worth
an
it.
experience, like, selling a house just isn't about buying or selling a house, like, this is an experience from the time you commit to one another to the time that they get their keys and then beyond, right? So,
Mhm.
I'm one of those people who, like, I try to teach other realtors, like, "This is an experience, let's create something for your clients that is memorable, and that allows them to enjoy it so much that they can't help but tell their friends and family. Like
Yeah.
I always back in the back in the fall, I got a phone call from somebody and she was like, "Hi, I am so and so's mom. You've helped him buy and sell a few of his houses, and I know I'm kind of out of your area, but I'm hoping that you'll still sell my house. He basically told me I'm not allowed to use anybody else but you." And I was
That's
like, "That is
great.
the highest compliment." And, her property was an hour and a half from me, but I still listed it and we sold it and it was a good successful sale and all that. But those are the kind of relationships and the phone calls that you want to get, because I
Absolutely.
didn't have to I didn't have to buy a lead to get that listing. I just fostered that relationship and was able to have my client advocate for me.
Yep. You take care of your clients take care of you.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome. Well, Trista, thank you so much for hopping on and sharing your story.
Yes.
It means a lot and I love just connecting. And I was talking to another agent in Philly. I just love doing these because you never know who's going to hear something in somebody else's story that's going to click, and then it's just going to make sense for them. So
Yeah,
thank you so much.
absolutely. Thank you.